Pakistan seems to be entering a panic mode following India's decisive action against the nation in response to the deadly Pahalgam terror attacks. Pakistani leadership has taken a slew of measures hinting at rising tensions within the country. Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, in fact, chaired an emergency meeting on the Council of Common Interest and even formed a committee for water management after India suspended the Indus Water Treaty. Pakistan has been scrambling for aid, with the Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar calling the Qataris as well as the UAE foreign ministers for money and loans. With desperate times calling for desperate measures, Pakistan has also been moving towards burning the hatchet with Bangladesh, with their High Commissioner in Dhaka briefing the Bangladeshi government on the situation at hand. But with all the telltale signs of panic in the country, can Pakistan be seen buckling under pressure is exactly what we talk about in the next half an hour. Joining us on the program is Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor, former diplomat. Mr. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, is also with us. Mr. Manan Dwivedi, foreign affairs expert, joins us on the show as well. Last but by no means the least, Mr. Adit Kothari, foreign affairs expert, also joins us on the program. Sumit, what according to you is happening in Pakistan at this point in time? Their own people, time and again, are saying that we are broke. हम कंगाल हैं, हमारे पास पैसे नहीं हैं. जब खाने को रोटी नहीं है, we don't have money for 3 square meals a day, then how can we take on the might of India? But yet there is this parallel jingoism at play on social media as well, where Pakistan seems to be posturing, Sumit, where they seem to be posturing the fact that they have nuclear bombs. They have nuclear warheads in excess of 200 plus. That perhaps is even more than India. Little do they realize that you just need one to annihilate perhaps a small continent in today's day and age. What is happening, and do you think with India's depth diplomatically, with all the Gulf countries, now even with the Taliban, the Indian representatives met the Taliban and they in fact got an assurance that if push comes to shove, Afghanistan is going to side with India. And the eastern front of Pakistan is already something that they are bleeding. Can they afford to open another western front against India and possibly face annihilation here, Sumit Peer?
Vinny, thank you for having me on your show. Couple of points here, sir. The first point is that your question is brilliant, and I'll start my answer with this. The first thing, look, Pakistan army works on one motto: Iman, Taqwa, Jihad, Fizibillah. We believe in the Allah and will do jihad in the name of Allah. That is the motto of Pakistan army. This is a mullah brigade, this is a terrorist army, and the chief of the Pakistani army is the most dangerous terrorist of the world, Asim Munir. Now, having said that, look, Pakistan was always brought up on Hindu hatred. Munir said that Khuda ne do riyasat banai, ek Medina aur 1300 saal baad Pakistan. And that concept of Pakistan is failing. Jinnah's Pakistan is failing. They don't know what to do, what not to do when the people are under pressure. Look at facts, Vineet. If Pakistan is 43% water deficient if we talk today. You cut another 15%, which I believe we have already cut. They are in dire situation. Their cash crops will fail. They don't have water to drink. When we restricted the water from the Chenab site, all the kheti which was happening on that belt is moved to this unorganized housing colonies. That is the position of Pakistan. Now, with $8-9 billion in the bank, your 5 which you cannot touch, you're left with $4 billion. That is their economic position of Pakistan. But the problem is that Mullah military nexus wants to be in the business because Fauji, Askari and Bahriya, they're the three foundations of military, control around $100 billion with a profit of $18 to $20 billion. So to be in the business to control 1/3 of the GDP of Pakistan and to be the uncrowned kings of Pakistan politics and power, I also call it politics and power, this military will not let it go. And who's Khaja Asif? Khaja Asif is a stooge of Pakistani military. Remember when he was in opposition, he made a statement, Pakistan ki fauj ne hamari what do you call bone marrow, I don't know what to say in Urdu, wo nikal ke kha gaye. They have swallowed our economy, they have even sold our bone marrow. That is what the Khaja Asif used to say. Now, when they are feeling isolated, when they are getting rattled, when they don't have money, they went to the Islamic countries, they are not getting a lot of support. But I would like to caution here, there's a saying called Tera Mera Kya Rishta, La ilaha illallah. And when Pakistanis start dying, which they will, our support from the Islamic world might start shaking. I'm very candid and direct on it. I don't want to be politically correct here. So he's not getting a lot of support. So what will he do? He comes with the grand old bluff. Islamic bomb. Pakistan ka bomb. I mean, bloody hell, do you care for our nukes when you do Pahalgam? Did you care when you did Uri and Bala, what you did in when you Uri? And If you don't care for doing Pulwama, you don't care for doing Ori, we have the nukes. Do you think we are scared of your nukes? No, we are not. Get out of this mullah bluff. This Islamic bomb and bluff works as a good lollipop from the Islamic world. Go and beg there and get money. We are not afraid of your nukes, and let me remind them, we have a hydrogen bomb which can decimate entire Pakistan in one shot. One shot, ek bahut hai. And the idea of tactical nuclear warheads is not going to work. We have our strategies right, and most of the Pakistan's bombs are, we need not with Pakistan. Khwaja Asif is BS, whatever he's talking. They are most of them are in an American base in Saudi. That's where they are. They're leveled with a couple of them. Minus that, they don't have money to run this war. I will tell you what did Bajwa say. Bajwa said, "Bhai, तोप है, उसमें तेल डालने का पैसा नहीं है, बंदूक है, गोली नहीं है, फौजी है, उसके पास खाना नहीं है." I'm quoting General Bajwa. Now after that, Munir only wants to be doing the jingoism and all, but the problem with the Pakistanis is they still believe that the Islamic, that Islamic power they have, they're Ghazis, they're Ghaznavis, they can slaughter Hindus, they can win India. This is the churan which Pakistan army sells to the common man in Pakistan. The fact of the matter is, Pakistan cannot afford this war, and we should impose this very expensive and costly war on Pakistan. After that, we need let them please get into this war. They'll be decimated. 4-5 टुकड़ों में हो जाएंगे, and the problem of Pakistan will be over for good. So by in 2026, you might not have a country called Pakistan, and 2026, you might not even have a country called Iran. That is what the reality looks like today. Moreover, this Pakistan military is the biggest epicenter of Islamic jihad and terror. All the Islamic terror in the world emanates from GHQ Rawalpindi. That is the truth of the matter. And world should thank us because we are going to settle the jihadis. And for the world, they have to align with us. They have to align with the humanity. Yes, there are some Islamic countries with that, but push comes to shove, I don't know where the loyalties will be in some point of time. But India is competent enough to manage its things. India can handle its own affairs, and bhai koi saath aaye ya na hai. We have to settle Pakistan because we cannot expect them to come and slaughter our people in broad daylight and we keep silent. We need refer to the latest media news. Haven't I been stretching my neck out on your show, your channel, telling you that one of these guys or a couple of these guys are SSG commandos? Now today the probe has revealed and confirmed that there are guys who have been involved in this massacre are SSG commandos, not disposable jihadis. And let me tell you another thing, sir. Don't be surprised one day you find a Hamas or a Hezbollah operative within the group. There is a possibility of Hamas and Hezbollah operative within that group. And why today we have closed 47, 48 out of 80 tourist destinations in Kashmir? There's a strong intel, something more could possibly go wrong. With that situation, we are going to settle Pakistan. This Islamic bomb, nuclear bomb bluff is over. This is not going to work, and they know after this war we need, there'll be no Pakistan, they'll be decimated, khatam ho jayegi kahani. They are trying their best to hold on to the power anyhow, ye bol ke, wo bol ke. And this Khwaja Asif and all should remember one thing. One thing is very, very clear. We mean business. Your bluff is over. Your bluff was over when we did Balakot and Uri. Don't scare us with this Islamic bomb or the nuclear bomb. We also have options. Push comes to shove, dekhi jayegi jo hoga. And you cannot perpetually kill our people with the fear that we have a Islamic bomb. Your army went, they will go and liberate Palestine, did they? Your army told you we'll do Ghazwa and we'll get you Kashmir, did they? They came for 4 wars and they left their dead here. That is the reality of your army. Your Mullah Munir has sent his family out of Pakistan. Gaya uske parivar. All the top generals' families are out. China, America, UK, everybody has moved their diplomatic staff's family out of Pakistan because they know Pakistan will be decimated. And this is Prime Minister Modi. ये मोदी का भारत है, घर में घुस के मारेगा, छोड़ेगा नहीं अब की बार. That is the message which should go loud and clear. Khwaja Asif, you can go and join a circus. You can be a clown there, and you can have Munir along with you. You can do beautiful shows here. But
right. Let me get Adit into this conversation as well. Adit, the man who is being blamed for precipitating this terror attack, Mr. Munir is nowhere in sight. There are telltale signs coming up that he's planning to flee Pakistan. That is the kind of report or information that is coming through at this point in time. There is also a murmur that Pakistan is going to ask for a negotiation with India before India has even started any countermeasures against Pahalgam. Where do you think that Pakistan stands today? And all this chest thumping about the Islamic bomb and the nuclear weapons that they have is more or less suicide talk. It's demented talk. It is not something. They had a nuclear bomb when Kargil happened as well. Even India knew that. and the world knew that. But the fact of the matter is that the Saudi and the American control is not going to allow them to use these weapons. The IMF is not going to allow them to use these weapons because it's very, very evident that that is what has been collateralized by Pakistan to secure this money.
Absolutely. I think, Vineet, you hit the nail on the head when you said, that's what has been leveraged by Pakistan to the IMF to secure the 24 loans that they've been able to secure. I mean, think about it, $7 billion. What are they doing with it at this point? How are they even securing that loan? So there is no assets that they could have leveraged in that scenario. So, that's one part. But I think, that Islamic bomb side of things, I think that myth was busted when India did Balakot. We knew for a fact that, there was nothing there. And Sumit, thanks to him, he mentioned something very critical. It's tactical nuclear weapons. Tactical nuclear weapons is as good as a suicide bomb. Even if you go to bomb your enemy, your first casualty is going to be within your own vicinity. So, if that is what they want to do, if that is how they want to execute it, God help them, rather Allah help them. Coming back to General Asif Munir, there have been numerous news. A, he's been in a bunker. B, he's looking to flee. There have been memes flying in social media about him being on an aeroplane to Honolulu. So there are, many conspiracy theories coming out at this point, but nothing certain at this point. But one thing which is certain is that there is a lot of disenchantment within the Pakistani army. There have been number of reports which have come in of Pakistani, senior army families being flown out into UAE, into London, into Canada, etc. And there has been a circular notification generated by the GHQ, requesting their family members not to flee Pakistan at this point, and also the officers not to leave Pakistan at this point. So we know for a fact that Pakistan. The top military brass, the polity are all running helter-skelter, which is why you see suddenly, this talk about the water mission and the governments of Balochistan, Sindh, of all the provinces coming together and sitting together. I think that's what they're trying to show is that, Punjab being the larger recipient of the waters from India, from the Indus Water Treaty, if that gets impacted, then what is the ripple effect on Sindh? What is the ripple effect on other parts of Pakistan? The agri industry is completely going to be decimated. At this point, they get 80% of the lion's share of the water, and their water management system is so abysmal that it is a case study in the making. That they haven't been able to manage their canals. They haven't been able to diversify. From crop perspective, they still stick to rice and cotton, which are extremely intensive, water intensive crops. So all in all, even a 5% reduction in the water flow from India could have a terrible impact in Pakistan. With the population, taking the polity and the military hostage. So it's a complete helter-skelter situation. So Pakistan, to be honest, is in a complete disarray. We've already seen today, there are multiple reports of protests in Pakistan, of Jammu Kashmir, and Gilgit. All of these protests are going to have a very detrimental impact on the unity of Pakistan, which basically rests on the premise of anti-India and anti-Hindu hate. Vinny.
You're absolutely right. And in fact, Major General Anuj Mathur also joins us on the show. He's a senior defense expert. But before that, let me go to Ambassador Pradeep Kapoor as well. Ambassador Kapoor, Pakistan should realize that diplomatically it's isolated. And the depth that India has created through its bilateral outreach and push cannot be compared to where Pakistan stands today. And in case of an eventual war or heightened tensions or exchange of hostilities between the two countries, it is more likely that India, that has become the world's darling, is going to get the favorable stance as compared to Pakistan. And yet they seem to be gloating about this Islamic bomb. To the world, it's nothing but a dirty bomb, which perhaps can also fall into the hands of all kinds of people in the future, even mafia and terrorist organizations as well. So the Americans are definitely going to take care of that.
Thank you, Vinny. I would like to say that we need to go about it in a very measured way, in a structured way, and we shouldn't count our chickens before they are hatched. Sorry. The opinion is gradually shifting, and there are sufficient sort of camps which would be sort of moving towards Pakistan if push comes to shove. How do we solidify the position globally and regionally and internally within Pakistan? Internally, as we have seen, they are very weak on various fronts. How do we again nudge it forward so that the country, either realizes that it has to get onto a path of development and abjure terrorism 100%, or it breaks up, implodes, and breaks up into 4 countries or whatever number of countries. How do we support the elements who are fighting for their independence, who have been, brutalized all these decades since independence, like Balochistan and the other areas in Pakistan, including Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, because the people there now have realized, particularly in POK, for example, that their future is not secure within the country called Pakistan. So how do we nudge that forward? So financially, economically, politically, militarily, all the options have to be thought about in a rational way and then taken forward. Secondly, we have to see externally what are the forces which are working against the Islamists, for example, because Pakistan, being the epicenter of terrorism and positioning itself as the next head of the Islamic world or caliphate or whatever you want to call it. How do we get working with the forces like the Jewish forces, like the Christian forces, for which it is a very big threat? Now, also in the Islamic world, we
So
see
Pakistan
that
is getting
Muslim
help from
women,
Turkey at this point in time. Pakistan is being helped by Turkey at this point in time, who's a member of NATO.
Yes, but we have to also see how we can weaken their international support, even from countries like Turkey or China. What are the levers that can be used to make them stay away, if not be against Pakistan? How do they become neutral is what we have to explore. For example, with China, we have to see that how we can tell them that if they continue to support Pakistan, China is already on a slightly shaky economic wicket internally. And if India says that we will completely stop all trade with China, it becomes even more difficult for the Chinese economy to survive. So we have to take those steps
Okay.
with various
All right, sir.
countries.
Let me rope in General Anuj Mathur into this conversation as well. General Mathur, how do you look at this permutation and combination of Pakistan getting help from its own allies, which also happen to be adversaries of India? On one hand, there's a tariff war happening with the Americans and the Chinese. All that business is coming to India. So obviously there is frustration as well as motivation within China to subjugate any kind of pain towards India. How do you think this special complication playing out in the next few days?
Vineet, what I would like to say is that Chinese, historically, let's look at them. They have never come out and helped Pakistan in any of the conflicts, be it 47, 65, 71, and even 1999. 1999 was a conflict taking place where their own interests lie in the Ladakh region. So the point is that Chinese, to my mind, are not likely to be directly helping them militarily. Giving equipment, giving ammunition is one thing, but helping them by making movements, maneuvers, and tying down Indian troops on the eastern and the northeastern borders of India, I don't think that is going to happen. One. Two, there are issues. Let's see, the war is always fought on 3 fronts simultaneously. One is the economic front, one is information warfare front, and the final is the kinetic military component, military tool. So the issue is that the 2 fronts, the war has already begun, and what we need to now do is to make sure that Pakistan is put back into grey, if not black, in FATF. We need to try and poke Pakistan economically and with the help of the international agencies. See, there is no nation, there is no military leader who talks of use of a nuclear bomb. A use of a nuclear bomb and crying a nuclear hoax is an act of terrorism. And this is what must get understood by the people, that these people, the Pakistan as a nation is not safe. See, Pakistan's army is totally radicalized, and radicalized army is dangerous, because then in the name of Allah or whatever, they are likely to, do things which cannot be actually traced back. The fact is that we need to now pressurize them, choke them in terms of the economics, and a naval blockade. The initial escalation ladder can be by the Indian Navy. This time around, we did the army in the surgical strikes, we did the Air Force in Balakot, and now it's a very, very possible sign. But we will not escalate as of now. That is how I read it. What is happening on the line of control? We have a very, very measured response to the ceasefire violation by the Pakistanis, and escalation will happen on
right,
our
sir.
terms.
Let me also get in Manan Dwivedi.
Vinit,
Manan, but the fact of the matter is that an escalation has already happened on behalf of Pakistan, and this is a sentiment which has been echoed time and again, that the real enemy across the border is not the terrorists, it's the Pakistani army. And this is a point which has been beautifully put by General Anuj Mathur as well, that dealing with a radicalized army is also a challenge that India needs to keep in mind.
I personally feel here that one can congregate one's attention, and we can zero in upon a particular incident, especially the speech which has been given by our envoy to United Nations, Yojana Patel. India has utilized the word, I think probably first time in the portals of United Nations for any specific country, while naming the country and pinpointing it very strategically and in a very terse and pithy manner. They have said rogue state. Pakistan is a rogue state, and they have been fueling and aiding and abetting terror activities in India since God knows how many ungodly years. This is what Yojana Patel has gone on to say. And apart from that, Jaishankar Saab has also met the visiting Foreign Secretary of United Kingdom, that is David Lammy, and he has complained in a diplomatic manner, and he has shared the anguish and consternation of India and New Delhi vis-a-vis the Pahalgam terror attacks. This is one part of it. But I would like to say here that the diplomatic strike is not enough, and we are the citizen of the country is not talking in a brio gungo or in a kind of a wild manner or only rhetorical manner, but the country is in deep shock, grief, fear and anger. Fear I might not say, but anger and consternation, and we require to really respond in a bigger way than what has been than what was seen in Pulwama and in Balakot.
But Sumit Peer, isn't this the new level of warfare, Sumit Peer, that it's not only military action, but it's also the economic action that India has taken. The latest one being cutting off all these YouTube channels, which literally earned these dollars from viewership from India. That is obviously a big jolt to these YouTubers as well, who very complicitly showed that they in fact were with Pakistan and extracted a lot of attention from India and made money.
It's not about money. We can afford that kind of money. The problem is this: they all work for ISPR. For last 2 years, I'm thankful to Modi ji, first of all. Sir, thank you very much. I've been last 2 years stretching my neck out on national TV, YouTube, wherever. You have to ban them because they all work for ISPR. They are offshoots of ISPR. You cannot be in Pakistan and say against the Pakistani military.
Yeah. Quickly wrap up, Sumit. Quickly wrap up. We have to finish.
Cannot survive. Nefarious agenda of ISPR, that is the PR wing of ISI. Shutting them down is cutting the ISI's influence, cutting the ISI influence into India. Look, today Americans have 50% of Americans use TikTok. What is China telling them in TikTok? Don't buy these Western bags and European bags. And Americans should come up and pick arms and have a revolution against the government, Donald Trump government. That is the power of influence.
All right,
Cutting out for national security reasons is the most bold and most affirmative step that Prime Minister Modi has taken.
Absolutely, absolutely. Appreciate those sentiments and appreciate everybody else who joined us on this program. We take a short break now. We'll be right back.